10. The three frog demon men. Revelation 16:13-14. What I saw next troubled me deeply. 3 foul spirits like frogs appeared, belched from the mouth of the dragon, the mouth of the beast, and the mouth of the earth beast. These frogs are demonic spirits. As they go into the world, they perform miracles, persuading the kings of the world to gather for the last battle on the great day of God, the all-powerful. This passage is talking about the 3 demonic-inspired people, who are the mouthpieces for these 3 beasts that will tear up and destroy the world. The first beast mentioned is the dragon, China, and it is the president of China who speaks for it. The second beast is the UN beast, and it will be the Antichrist who will eventually speak for it. And the third beast is the earth beast, which is a technology beast, that is, it comes from the ground, and the false prophet of technology will speak for it. These 3 leaders will bring the world into wars, with destructive technologies, and destroying each other in the process. Revelation 17:16. The beast and the 10 horns you saw will hate the prostitute. They will bring her to ruin and leave her naked. They will eat her flesh and burn her with fire. Revelation 8:7-12. And the first messenger did sound, and there came hail and fire, mingled with blood, and it was cast to the land, and the third of the trees was burnt up, and all the green grass was burnt up. And the second messenger did sound, and as it were a great mountain with fire burning, was cast into the sea, and the third of the sea became blood, and died did the third of the creatures that are in the sea, those having life, and the third of the ships were destroyed. And the third messenger did sound, and there fell out of the heaven a great star, burning as a lamp, and it did fall upon the third of the rivers, and upon the fountains of waters, and the name of the star is called Wormwood. And the third of the waters doth become wormwood, and many of the men did die of the waters, because they were made bitter. And the fourth messenger did sound, and smitten was the third of the sun, and the third of the moon, and the third of the stars, that darkened may be the third of them, and that the day may not shine, the third of it, and the night in like manner. Revelation is describing the effects of a nuclear war. Those that translated these passages were unaware of this technology, which would come in the future, and bring about such destructive weapons. Instead they called these messengers angels. These are the messengers of death and destruction, that is, nuclear weapons. The first nuclear destruction is that of the US, by the nations of the UN beast, which causes the sun, the moon, and the stars to be darkened there, by the dust thrown in the air, and the water to be poisoned with fallout radiation, affecting a third of the earth. Daniel 8:24. He will become very strong, but not by his own power. He will cause astounding devastation and will succeed in whatever he does. He will destroy those who are mighty, and the holy people. Daniel 11:43-44. He will gain control of the treasures of gold and silver and all the riches of Egypt, with the Libyans and Cushites in submission. But reports from the east and the north will alarm him, and he will set out in a great rage to destroy and annihilate many. Revelation 16:1-3. And I heard a great voice out of the sanctuary saying to the 7 messengers, Go away, and pour out the vials of the wrath of God onto the earth. And the first did go away, and did pour out his vial upon the land. And there came a sore, bad and grievous, to men, those having the mark of the beast, and those bowing to his image. And the second messenger did pour out his vial to the sea, and there came blood as of one dead, and every living soul died in the sea. The Antichrist will destroy what's left of the planet, in defending his territory from the north, Russia, and east, China. The effects of these nuclear weapons is to cause ugly sores on the people who are still living, nuclear radiation poisoning, and the fallout will kill off all sea life. Joel 2:2-10. A day of darkness and gloom, a day of clouds and blackness. Like dawn spreading across the mountains a large and mighty army comes, such as never was in ancient times nor ever will be in ages to come. Before them fire devours, behind them a flame blazes. Before them the land is like the Garden of Eden, behind them, a desert waste. Nothing escapes them. They have the appearance of horses, they gallop along like cavalry. With a noise like that of chariots they leap over the mountain tops, like a crackling fire consuming stubble, like a mighty army drawn up for battle. At the sight of them, nations are in anguish, every face turns pale. They charge like warriors, they scale walls like soldiers. They all march in line, not swerving from their course. They do not jostle each other, each marches straight ahead. They plunge through defenses without breaking ranks. They rush upon the city. They run along the wall. They climb into the houses. Like thieves they enter through the windows. Before them the earth shakes. The heavens tremble. The sun and moon are darkened. And the stars no longer shine. Joel is describing a nuclear war. A type of war that has never happened before and God will not allow to happen again. This war causes darkness. The earth to shake. Burns up everything in its path. These are nukes flying straight, which have a flame coming out from the rear, flying over mountains, and making the noise of many chariots, with the roar of their rocket engines. Revelation 11:18. The nations were angry, and your wrath has come. The time has come for judging the dead, and for rewarding your servants the prophets and your people who revere your name, both great and small, and for destroying those who destroyed the earth. These people left on the earth will be destroyed for destroying the earth, and God's raptured people will be rewarded. Daniel 2:33-35. Its legs of iron, its feet partly of iron and partly of baked clay. While you were watching, a stone was cut out, but not by human hands. It struck the statue on its feet of iron and clay, and smashed them. Then the iron, the clay, the bronze, the silver and the gold were all broken to pieces and became like chaff on a threshing floor in the summer. The wind swept them away without leaving a trace. But the stone that struck the statue became a huge mountain and filled the whole earth. God tells us that the last kingdom, which is the United Nations, will be destroyed by a stone, before Christ's 1,000-year kingdom is set up on the earth. This stone is Apophis smashing into the earth on Passover 2036, and directly or indirectly, will kill off all those left behind after the raptures. 11. The Antichrist's rise to power. Daniel 7:4. The first was like a lion and had eagle's wings. Then as I looked its wings were plucked off, and it was lifted up from the ground and made to stand on 2 feet like a man, and the mind of a man was given to it. The lion represents England, and it had its wings ripped off, when the eagle, which represents the US, ripped itself away from England in 1776. Out of England this lion man has emerged, who is the Antichrist. Daniel 8:8-9. Then the goat became exceedingly great, but when he was strong, the great horn was broken, and instead of it there came up 4 conspicuous horns toward the 4 winds of heaven. Out of one of them came a little horn, which grew exceedingly great towards the south, towards the east, and towards the glorious land. After the great horn, which is the US, is broken off the UN goat, the other 4 smaller horns come into dominance to lead the UN beast, and they are the other 4 permanent members on the UN Security Council. England, the lion, which is one of the permanent members, has been shown to have the lion man coming out of it, and this is represented by the small horn coming out of one of the 4 main horns, which is leading the UN goat in the future. Daniel 11:3-4. Then a mighty king will arise, who will rule with great power and do as he pleases. After he has arisen, his empire will be broken up and parceled out toward the 4 winds of heaven. It will not go to his descendants, nor will it have the power he exercised, because his empire will be uprooted and given to others. Daniel 11 continues this prophecy. We see this United Nations kingdom broken up into the 4 horns, after the US has been removed. Daniel 11:40. At the time of the end the king of the south will engage him in battle, and the king of the north will storm out against him with chariots and cavalry and a great fleet of ships. He will invade many countries and sweep through them like a flood. The United Nations is broken up into 2 factions, which are the north and the south. After various wars between the king of the north and the king of the south, we come to the last war, which is the rebellion of desolation, which brings havoc to the life on earth. The global north generally refers to the Western world, while the global south largely corresponds with the BRICS bloc of developing countries, which comprise of Brazil, the Russian Federation, India, China, and South Africa. This bloc is expanding their alliance to include Argentina, Egypt, Ethiopia, Iran, Saudi Arabia, and the United Arab Emirates. The king of the north will be the Antichrist lion, and the king of the south will be China's dragon leader, who will war against each other. Daniel 11:44. But news from the east and the north shall alarm him, and he shall go out with great fury to destroy and devote many to destruction. The other 2 UN security members to go after the US is gone. Seems to be Russia to the north, and China to the east, and then the lion man has full control of the UN beast. It was probably Russia and China that destroyed the US in the first place. Daniel 7, 7-8, ESV. After this I saw in the night visions, and behold, a fourth beast, terrifying and dreadful and exceedingly strong. It had great iron teeth. It devoured and broke in pieces and stamped what was left with its feet. It was different from all the beasts that were before it, and it had 10 horns. I considered the horns, and behold, there came up among them another horn, a little one, before which 3 of the first horns were plucked up by the roots. And behold, in this horn were eyes like the eyes of a man, and a mouth speaking great things. This little horn came from one of the main horns on the UN goat, which is the lion man that came from the English lion, who stands up like a man, and a mind of a man was given to it. We see this little horn has the eyes of a man and speaks. This Antichrist will rule the UN after the US, Russia, and China are gone, when 3 of the 10 members on the UN Security Council are no longer there. Revelation 17:16. And the 10 horns that you saw, they and the beast will hate the prostitute. They will make her desolate and naked, and devour her flesh and burn her up with fire. The first UN Security Council member to go will be the US, due to the actions of the other Security Council members of the UN beast, who will destroy the prostitute representing the US. This is also shown by the large horn on the UN goat beast that was broken off. Daniel 2:41 tells us that the last kingdom of 10 toes will not stick together.